come crumbling down. The North Vietnamese launched their largest and most ambitious offensive yet into the South. As ARVN units began to falter, hundreds of thousands of South Vietnamese civilians run for their lives. On April 21st, President Thieu resigns. 4 days later, NVA forces reach the outskirts of Saigon. On April 29th, as Saigon crumbles, a small contingent of U.S. State Department, CIA workers, and Marines who remained in Vietnam begin a hasty and desperate evacuation of South Vietnamese civilians and government employees who had worked with the United States. Tens of thousands of people scramble onto U.S. ships waiting offshore.
So I showed a little clip of what transpired at the fall of Saigon, 1975. That leads into what I'm going to discuss today. So picture this. Every 7-year-old boy with his mother and family running to the airport, Tan Son Nhut Airport, trying to get out of the country, Vietnam, because the northern NVA and the Viet Congs are coming down the south and taking over the country. The boy's cries in fear. I know where that boy's coming from because it's me. So, what is the history of Vietnamese immigration? According to the American Immigration Law Foundation.org article is History of Vietnamese Immigration. It started, or it happened because of the end of the war. Anti-communist Vietnamese need to get out of Vietnam or else they're going to face atrocities and re-education camps. The first wave of refugees under Operation New Life, the refugees was transported out of the Vietnam via U.S. military to camps in Thailand, Guam, Wig Island, Hawaii, and the Philippines. My family personally went to Guam in the Philippines and then to Camp Pendleton, California. There were actually refugee camps at Camp Pendleton, California, Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, and Fort Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania, of all places. That was the first wave. Let's talk about the second wave of immigration. According to the same article, the second wave were called boat people.
At first, it's hard to make out. A speck on the horizon. You take a closer look. A boat. A flag. An arm waving. A crowd gathers along the beach. This is the east coast of Malaysia. Final destination, thousands of refugees fleeing Vietnam. Many don't make it this far. They're attacked by pirates, drown, or starve to death. These have made it, but will the Malaysian police turn them away? Or will they be stoned by local villagers? The crowd waits to see how many will survive this time. Only a few fishermen helped the boat people ashore. We joined in. Okay.
That was a fascinating clip of the boat people. So what I talked about, first wave of immigration and second wave of Vietnamese immigration. Let's talk about how the Vietnamese people assimilated into American society. From the same article, churches, communities, community leaders, families from the bottom of their heart would help these Vietnamese families, sponsor them from the refugee camps, provide them with shelter, food, jobs. So my parents would work menial jobs, 2-3 jobs while I attend school. Basically, all Vietnamese started out that way. According to immigration lawyers on the web.com, in an article, 30 Years of Vietnamese Immigration to the United States, that article pretty much conveyed the point that Vietnamese people are entrepreneurs, they're hard workers, they're diligent, arduous, they're business owners, they open up barbershop, restaurants, auto repair shops, nail industries, nails, and commercial fishing industries, and so on and so forth. So just hard, diligent worker. So I talked about the history, the assimilation of Vietnamese into the American culture. Let's talk about how they are a huge proponent of American democracy. Vietnamese are proud and profoundly appreciative of democracy and what America has done for them. According to NewTommy.com, in an article, USC Vietnamese Americans angered by the communist flag. In an article, basically, it's indicated that Vietnamese students saw the display of the communist flag and they were angered by it because of the oppression of symbolically what that flag is showing. It's just oppression, atrocities. It's just like an analogy of if you were Jewish people experienced what in World War II, Nazi Germany, the swastika. Same thing. They see that, boom. It brings back all of this ill effect and emotion. According to so let me show you the flag. What's the difference between the Vietnamese flag, the Southern Vietnamese flag, and the North Vietnamese Communist flag, so you know what I'm talking about. Vietnamese flag that we love as Vietnamese because it represent freedom back then, until it was taken over by the communists and this flag. According to the Right Education article, Passion of War revived in Little Saigon. Basically what this article was indicating was that shopkeeper Truong Van Tran, he displayed the communist flag and a picture of Ho Chi Minh. And I'll show you that right now.
God on high, my...
So that picture of Ho Chi Minh, which is the communist leader of Vietnam, and the North Vietnamese flag is just two things that South Vietnamese do not like. They are anti-communist and pro-democracy. So what happened was he did that. He incited a riot in the Little Saigon, California community. I was there as a deputy sheriff, did riot control, pushed the rioters back, and it had to protect the shopkeeper and his business because that's his freedom of expression, freedom of speech. So it's just something that people are so passionate about. If you go down Little Saigon, you always see the American flag and the South Vietnamese flag displayed because they were so patriotic. They loved it. They know their roots, but they also love America. So what have I discussed today? I discussed history of Vietnamese immigration, how they assimilated, and how they are so pro-democracy. I am passionate about this topic because I've experienced it firsthand. I thank God for the opportunity that America has provided for me. I strive to be a productive citizen by serving as a U.S. Marine, U.S. Air Force Reservist, and a deputy sheriff. But in the end, I want to thank you. I thank God. I want to thank all the service members who had served, who are currently serving, and the ones that have died and given up their lives for the price of freedom. Freedom is not free. God bless America.